We are live. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday. RT Bear here, coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios, the wonderful studios here in the Woodlands, Texas. Yeah. So I hope you guys are doing good and are prepared for some updates, some black and white updates. We're going to get into that. Let you guys know where the campaign is. Well, it's not campaign yet. When we're going to go live, a little behind the scenes stuff, and we're going to launch Black and White V3, Sins of the Father, tomorrow. And Pamela and I are still powwowing about the time tomorrow, but it's most likely going to be around noon Central Standard, which would be around 1 o'clock. So I'd say anywhere between probably noon and 1 New York time or Eastern Standard Time. And so the reason I'm saying this also is we're going to get the announcements out to the pre-launch people and let you guys know that we are going to launch tomorrow at that time or around that time. We're probably going to launch earlier so they know. But we're going to launch earlier for the early signups, and then later for the rest. So what I'm trying to say is sign up for the pre-launch right now. It's I got a tab here. I got a tab. Let's do this. Copy. And so I got the link here. You guys click this link and you can sign up for the page and get that free Juju trading card with a backing. And also, like I said, you'll get early access to the campaign, so you can get those early bird specials. I'm going to go over the campaign with you guys, and I got some original artwork that most likely no one will ever see, but behind the scenes stuff. Pedro Ang has character designs for some of the villains for the new comic book, The High Octane Adventures. So we're going to show those off as well. But the main thing is I just wanted to touch base, let you guys know we're going live tomorrow. It's been a long haul for this. We were supposed to do all this before Halloween, actually. But there's been a series of events that made it impossible for me to do that. So it's still really tough. Like, I don't have all my social media back. If you guys don't know, there's a couple videos back that explain my ongoing dramas here. But just in a nutshell, we had a family die, a family member, close friend, actually. We call them family, like aunts and uncles for Amanda. And so we had that. Amanda needed us, so she came and stayed with us for almost a week. And so during that week, we were supposed to launch the campaign. And so we put it on hold so we could, be together as a family and try to get past, or at least deal with the loss. And then my computer, it's weird. It started losing power like quickly. So it wasn't allowing me to run certain programs like StreamYard and YouTube and things like that. So I got a new computer, and naive as I am, I thought I could just hire somebody and they could take the information from the old computer and put it on their new computer. And apparently it wasn't that easy. So I lost a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So for the last week, this whole week, we've been just trying to rebuild this computer to get it to the stage that it's in right now, which is somewhat functional. Actually, it is functional. I shouldn't, I don't want to give it to those guys. And to be honest, they didn't really do all of it. Pamela and I did quite a bit. Amanda helped us with some of it. So long story short, got most of my tabs, everything back. I don't have Facebook and I don't have Instagram, but I did get, I don't have Twitter on this computer. I got Twitter on this computer, the old computer, because it didn't cross over either. So, but I do have access to it. It is working, but with the old computer. And then I had to get a whole new Photoshop set up because they lost my original Photoshop with all my quick keys and just I had a whole blue line section so I could just go through it real quick. And I just had a bunch of things set up so I could move through it quickly. And that's all gone. So I'm trying to figure out this new Photoshop program, and it's pretty similar to the older one, but there's enough difference to throw an old boomer like myself off. Yeah, it's not easy being me. I'll tell you right now. Let's see what you guys are up to. We got MD Houghton. Um, Good evening. Yeah, right back at you. We got Spaceman. Hell to the T Bear. We got Auntie Entity. Hey, what's up? We got Leg Kick one. Hello there, Art. Leg Kick says, don't forget to leave a like, please. Yeah, you guys, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit that bell for notifications. Every little bit helps. It's going to help a lot more in the future because I got a feeling I'm going to have to build my Instagram up and my Facebook from the ground up. So that's going to take a little time. I'm not too sad about losing it, although I do connect with a lot of friends and different people I work with through Facebook. So I do have all of their emails. So I'm going to have to start doing things through email, which makes it a little bit, it's weird because email is kind of inconvenient these days because not a lot of people, well, I don't check email that much anymore. I pretty much do everything through Twitter or through Facebook, like private messages and DMs, things like that. So it's gonna be interesting. So I got to touch base with those guys, let them know that just email me with anything, any updates, new artwork, things like that. So yeah, here's the Indiegogo. I do have a campaign right now that is oh no, this is the Black and White Volume 3. I'm sorry. This is the sign up page, you guys. So click this, go sign up real quick. You'll be eligible for a black and white collectible trading card with the character Juju. She's going to be the big bad or one of the big bads for this upcoming series. And that's absolutely free with a backing. And so that's the business. That's the business. We got Stealth X5. Yo, what's up? Auntie says, I just bought a brandy new computer just for art working. That's good. I mean, I think a lot of the problems with my computer was we had a dear friend. It's all attached. He's passed too, and the other one that just passed recently was his wife. So they passed within weeks of each other, and so it's a lot to deal with. He leaves his son, so I have a pretty good relationship with his son. So that's good. Trying to help him out as much as I can, but he set up all of the computer. And what happened, I think this is why things crashed, is because passwords weren't changed. So when the computer crashed, some of my stuff got changed to the new email address, but some of it didn't. So like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, actually all my social media platforms weren't changed over. Some of them still work, which is weird, but some of them don't. And so it's because they're all attached to my old email address, not my new one. So if I would have changed over when everything was active before things crashed, it would have been fine. But after things crash, they won't let you change your email or anything like that. So I do have a couple things that I'm hoping for, but if it doesn't happen, like I said, I really just use it to connect with friends and people I work with. Since I'm identified as CG, a lot of the comic book community they will not like anything I do on Facebook. So pretty much they killed my Facebook. So that probably makes him feel good. So I don't really get a lot of interaction with Facebook and Instagram anyway. It's weird, like Twitter, as soon as Elon Musk took over Twitter, my Twitter account just rocketed. And so it is kind of strange that there is a right and left dynamic to the world now, where there is kind of like there's this media that is right leaning, and then there's this media that's left leaning. And if you get identified as something opposite of whatever the platform is, it it doesn't really serve you anymore, which is really bizarre. And I hope that we can, as Americans, we can do away with this because I don't think this is very healthy. Well, anyway, I hope your new computer works out good for you. Creative Faye, uh, you're more cleaned up than yesterday. Yeah, I think just mentally, I told myself I was going to clean up when I launched, and I thought, I was going to launch weeks ago. So since then, I didn't clean up. I didn't shave. I didn't get a haircut or anything. So today I went out early and got my hair cut, and it's kind of a new style, so it's kind of pulled back like here. So I usually just have this whatever my hair is going to do thing, but I guess it now has a style that I didn't have before. So I hope it's not high maintenance, because if it is, it's not going to last very long. I'm just not into that stuff. But yeah, more cleaned up. Clean is good. Clean is good. I am not happy with Adobe with the crap they have done dirty to artists. Yet I didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to do it. I wanted to use my old Photoshop. It was working fine. It was designated. What I wanted is it to be designated to the original computer, the old computer. So I wanted all my tabs, emails, everything brought over to the new computer, but I wanted my Photoshop to stay at the old computer. So then I didn't have to update Photoshop. And it was working fine on the old computer. For some reason, maybe just the functionality of it, since it was an older Photoshop program, that it worked fine. And without all the extra tabs and stuff, I was thinking there'd be more power just to run Photoshop, which I believe it would have done because it was doing it before. But the bonehead repair guy that was supposed to do the job, he somehow, when he transferred everything over, he deleted my original Photoshop. So yeah, I had to buy a new one. So now I'm a slave in perpetuity to Photoshop. So I have to pay their monthly fees, and then do all their stupid updates and all that other stuff. And so my old Photoshop was all downloaded with discs and stuff. So it's on the computer, like it's rock solid. And now I'm gonna have to, like, all their updates and all that bullshit, I'm gonna have to go through. And also, yeah, that I think Auntie's talking about, like, spying. I think they were using people's Photoshop information and selling things. They were doing some kind of hanky panky with Photoshop, which is what it is. I don't have a choice at this point, or at least I don't feel like I do. But I've been using that Photoshop for a couple days now, 2 or 3 days, and so far there's a couple things that don't function exactly the way the old, but I've used the old one enough that I can kind of figure out how to do what I want it to do, and so far so good. But it is taking a little bit of time to, because it's not exactly the same. So I'm all muscle memory. So I just kind of teach myself by repetition. I don't really know how these things function. So anyway, it is what it is. Meta's social media is not reliable or relevant for promoting your products. Yeah, I'll tell you, like Twitter, like when it was like, I guess it was more left controlled. I would tweet things and I wouldn't get any traction at all. I posted an image of black and white. It's the B cover for the new campaign. I posted that thing. I got 200 likes, and I got like 94 retweets. I like retweets. I have never gotten that many retweets before. So one, it's you guys. So thank you very much for helping get the word out. But two, I think the algorithms or whatever are favoring me more than they used to, because I could not get, it didn't matter what I did. I would hashtag, I would do all that stuff. I would get no traction on X at all. So X, at least for me, is a better place. And also, I mean, just during the election, uh, the campaign and the night of the, that they were going to give the results for presidency. Pamela and I, well, she was on her phone and I was up here, and I mostly was just watching X. So X in real time was giving me pretty damn good coverage. Everybody posting things like that, and I kept up with it that way up till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I remember the last election, and the one before that, like the Hillary Clinton versus Trump. I remember that, and Twitter wasn't what it is now, and even the Joe Biden Trump, there wasn't that kind of coverage. So it's pretty cool for the right now to. I wish it didn't have to come down to either or, this guy or that guy, but it is what it is, and I'll just deal with it until things can get better. But hopefully we can kind of get past this, like, this is mine, this is mine, this is yours, this is yours. You can have half the country, we'll take the other half. Like, it's just so weird. And I've said it on this stream before, this show, is the thing I don't understand with Americans is they're very tolerant with, like, you get somebody like Nancy Pelosi, where she talks about like her group of people, like these are our people, and then they talk about kind of pandering to just that one group of people. Well, the thing is, you're supposed to represent all of America, not just the people that vote the way you want them to. So you have a job to do, and it's not just to represent the people that like you, it's to represent the people that don't like you as well. And also, you're taking a salary. So you're taking a salary that the taxpayers are paying you and paying the government, but you're taking all of that, and it's your income, but you're only representing half of it. So you're only doing half your job. So the other half that you're not representing are still paying taxes, and it's still going to you. And somehow you think you're justified taking it. Well, if we're going to play that game, right, and you're only going to represent half of America, well, then you should only get half your wages, because the other half isn't being represented. I mean, if we're going to play their stupid game, which it's all dumb anyway, but you're only doing half your job. You're only representing half the country. You shouldn't get all your money. So anyway, that's how I feel about that. Hey, Edwin Buzz. It's Buzz. I have I have this killer campaign for you guys. I am going to show it. This is going to be fun, because this page is not published yet, but I can show it off, and that's what I'm going to do. So you guys, this is the campaign right here. This will be going live tomorrow. Tomorrow, Black and White Volume 3, Sins of the Father, will be going live. And it is going to be a fantastic campaign. I can't wait to get it. Well, you know what? To be honest, I mean, it's one of those, you want to do it, you're kind of eager, and then you're a little trepidatious about putting your baby out in the world and seeing if it's accepted or not. So there's a little bit of, like, I'm looking forward to it, and a little nervousness as well. But here's a great video. It was put together by Phil Diaz, and he did a tremendous job. Here it is, you guys. Yeah, you guys, Black and White Volume 3, Sins of the Father. This marks the 30th anniversary of this fast-paced action adventure series, only from Hack Shack Comics and Indiegogo. So back it tomorrow, you guys. Yeah, so we will be hitting that live button tomorrow around noonish, and we'll get this bad boy going, and hopefully cross your fingers that we will kick all ass and get a bunch of people some new black and white stories, and that would be awesome. So here it is. Hi all, I'm RT Bear. As many of you know, I've been working in the comics field for over 40 years, and I've had the privilege of working for some of the industry's most amazing comics. Yes, indeed. Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Fantastic Four, X-Men, you name it. I probably have worked on it. During the early 90s, I was given the opportunity to publish my first independent comic through Image Comics. Black and White made their first bombastic appearance in 94 with a 3-issue miniseries that sold over 500,000 copies. Now we're celebrating Black and White's 30th anniversary, and we have some great surprises in store for this campaign. Yes, we do. I hope you join me on this Indiegogo campaign by backing a book, then settle in for one mighty fine read. Thanks for checking out Black and White. Yeah, you guys, here it is, the new logo. The HS Comics, Hack Shack Comics, presents Black and White, Sins of the Father. This is the main cover, you guys. I'm really, really happy with this. I think my artwork, if I don't know, it sounds kind of arrogant, but I think it's getting better and better every time I pick up the pencil. So I think this is just a bombastic action cover. I want to do something different. So this is lava in the background. So Black and White are like the opening of Volume 3 has a scene where we get into kind of like James Bond territory, where we have, kind of the traditional Bond villain. He's inhabiting his evil island underneath a volcano, and so the backdrop of the opening fight scene will be a volcano. So I thought it'd be fun to reflect that in the cover. So Kyle Ritter got on board. He did the color work, and he was absolutely excited. He's like, I've never colored lava before. I've never done lava effects. I've never done any of that. So he keyed into my line work perfectly. And then he kind of did like these added these like photos over it, I guess. I don't know really how they do that or how to explain it. And it kind of gave this like cool lava effect. And then I kind of added my 2 cents. And the main thing was just that the lava went all the way down to the ground. It used to stop around mid-waist of Reed, and then it changed direction. But I thought it would be cool to bring it all the way down compositionally to the ground. So it's a little bit like it's hitting a little bit below Whitney's crotch level there. So it's a little thing, but it did make a big difference because it didn't cut like the old way it cut the composition. This way, it brings your eye all the way down the 2 figures. And I got some bros help on this too. Graham Nolan threw his 2 cents in there, helped me out with some of the, I think it was the black pose. And then Andrew, I call him Andrew Smith, he helped me out a little bit with the white pose. There's a little subtle twist to her waist, and I didn't have that before, and Andy helped me out with that. So those guys are so cool. The CG marketplace that we have, all the allies that we've managed to bring in are absolutely fantastic. I mean, it is quite a killer community here. So yeah, Sins of the Father, we have some samplings of the interior pages. So these are breakdowns from Alan Patrick. He worked on the 4-page epilogue for Volume 2. And so I think this takes, it goes the next level. So his layouts and my finishes were good on that, but I think they're even better as we move along. So here's 3 of the interior pages as samples. And then we have the high octane. So this is the Animated Adventures, the general all ages book. It's 22 pages. It's a one and done story. This Sins of the Father is a two-part story. So 3 and 4, volumes 3 and 4 will be the main story, or the full story, I should say. So then we got one and dones, which are these animated adventures. We call them high octane. And so Pedro Ang will be working on this. He's writing, penciling, inking, and doing the color work on this. And I got some behind the scenes stuff to show you guys, which is like Pedro's behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to show that off. I talked about that yesterday on the live stream, so I'll show that today. And so here are 3 of the interior pages for high octane. Absolutely fantastic, just high energy, cool animated style from Pedro. And then we have the 4 jaw-dropping covers, you guys. So we have the main cover, which is A. We got the B cover, which has the 2 main bads or baddies. We have Lord Faken, and we have Juju, the Valdoon priestess. She uses she's a technomancer, so she uses technology and supernatural to like combines those 2 things to raise the dead. And so then my buddy Carlo Barberi, I just called him, said, could you do a variant? Within a day, I got sketches back from him. I got 3 different drawings, designs. They were all equally as good, but this one I thought would stand out from the other 2 because it's simpler, it's more bold and direct, so it really stands out against the other 2. So I wanted variety on the campaign. So he hit a grand slam home run here. I did the inks, and then we got Brian Mag to do the colors, and Brian is going to be doing all the interiors as well. So Brian is back. He also did the color work for the high octane. This is Brian's work as well. He's really, really good, and he gets the black and white vibe. So then we're going to have, about mid-campaign, we're going to be announcing cover D. The announcement's going to be big, and you guys will dig it. You guys will dig it big time. So here's a better look at the covers. Just bigger imagery. So we got Lord Fake in there with this castle. We got Juju with all of her warriors that she's raised from the dead, giving black and white a hard ass time. I'm really, really happy with this cover, and you guys have really responded well to this. Like I said, I did post it up on X, and I got almost 100 retweets. So that's really good for me. So let's keep getting the word out. It's all guerrilla marketing, you guys. All guerrilla marketing. So yeah, we got this. I got a feeling that B cover is going to do really, really well in this campaign. And then we got the Carlo cover, Carlo Barberi. I think he's doing Spawn. He's working on Spawn right now, and it looks really cool. He and I worked together on Super Sons at DC. And we knew each other before that, but it was cool to be able to work together. He does a lot of the Texas shows because he's in Mexico, but I think he's real close to the border, so he can just fly on over. I think he says it takes an hour to get to like Houston and Dallas and stuff like that. So pretty cool. So we have original artwork here. So we're gonna have all 4 of these covers. And we will have the D cover. If all goes well, we'll have the D cover for sale as well in this campaign. So if you guys are original art collectors, if you're fans of black and white, these are great to have. And then we have the jam. So if you guys were wondering what Juju looks like, this is what she looks like in all her glory. This is going to be a full bleed poster print that will come with the jam, but this is also the trading card artwork, you guys. So if you sign up today, because once we go live, you won't be able to get that trading card again. So if there's anybody that hasn't signed up, it's the link's in the description, and I put it in the chat earlier. If I have any mods in the house, if you guys could throw some links for the Black and White Volume 3, Sins of the Father sign-up page. That would be great. But yeah, this is what the trading card will look like, you guys. And the poster print will only come with the Jam tier. So we have some cool stretch goals, 35K trading card, 45. We have the 30th anniversary sticker. And at 50, we have an upgraded cover stock. And then at 60, 30th anniversary patch. Those are stitched patches. Each one of these campaigns, even the Chrono Mechanics, we've had these stitched patches. They look really, really cool. So, if you guys have been backing the Hack Shack campaigns, you'll have all of them. So we're gonna do that again with this campaign, and then we have the anniversary pin, and then we're gonna do some spot UV work on the cover. We did that with Volume 2 on the main cover, and it came out fantastic. So we're gonna do it again. Hopefully, if we can get to that 75K. I'm really, really hoping that we can just kick all butt. I know things are a little tough right now, but I have faith in you guys. I think we can do it. Hell, I know we can do it. Yeah, we're going to be launching tomorrow, you guys. Like I said, around noonish Eastern Standard Time. So that's kind of the goal. I'm not like Pamela's got some early morning plans tomorrow. She doesn't come back here till noon. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to live stream. I'm going to do a hullabaloo and kind of get you guys all jazzed for the new campaign. And then we're going to launch this bad boy. So yeah, Darren says I meant some bitch in the most respectful way possible. Where was some bitch? I didn't see the some bitch. Some bitch. Crazy Cat says, gorgeous covers. Thank you. Crazy Cat says, your hair looks sharp, Art, like a wave. Yeah, actually, she kind of just, I just said my hair was so long. You should see, like, it was just falling all over when I got it cut. I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of hair. And so she goes, what do you want? What kind of look? Because she couldn't tie it back to the old haircut because there was no trace of it. So she had to make up something from scratch. So she kind of had it like kind of pushed back at one point. So I said, yeah, we'll just do that. That's fine. And I go ahead and part it, and then we'll just kind of push it back and see how it goes. If it becomes high maintenance, I'm not going to keep up the wave. But if not, you guys will see the sharp dressed man. Yeah, I did kind of sharpen up the beard a little bit. Yeah, I'm all cleaned up. My wife should take me out for dinner, show me off. Crazy Cat, on the subject of technomancers, I saw a great movie about declassified psychic technology, real devices built to harness psychic energy in the Soviet Union. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. Yeah, that's kind of like how her stuff is going to work, like Juju's. Darren Wagner says, Art, your art is always getting better, aging like wine, cherry wine. I don't know if I've ever had cherry wine. Remember, like, I don't know, I'm an older gentleman, but in the day there was Boone's Farm. Boone's Farm, was it cherry wine or strawberry wine? I think they had all kinds of wine. I think that was this wine company. Like now they're marketing almost everything to young people or young adults. We got Starbucks, right? But that's not like coffee of our parents. Like my parents didn't put cream or really any sugar. They just kind of drank coffee straight, black, I think that's what they called it. And so then like Starbucks became like, oh, it'll be like coffee for young adults. So it's like, it's flavored. There's like vanilla, there's a cinnamon, there's cream, there's sugar, like there's all of this stuff. And it's almost like a dessert, versus like coffee. And so then there was Boone's Farm, which I think was one of the early attempts at like selling, like wine to younger people, right? Because they probably figured wine is intimidating for young guys, young people. And so we can like, it's Boone's Farm strawberry wine or whatever it is. And so it was a little bit more like, this is what kids would like. And then they had a beer. What was it called? Zima. It was like Sprite or 7 Up, like, but it was supposedly beer, and you couldn't really taste the alcohol in it at all. And to be honest, I mean, beer has very little alcohol in it to begin with, so it's bizarre. And so then they just kind of keep doubling down on trying to sell like what used to be more adult to young adults. So they're instead of like the young adults like becoming adults and drinking these things, they're kind of like the businesses are bringing those things down age wise to accommodate the younger market, I guess. And you see it a lot. Like what was it? I think on one of the bro shows we were doing, we were talking about movies, and so I think it was movies of our youth or something like that. And when I was going through the movies of my youth, there were a lot of R-rated movies. There were a lot. So that means that like the cinema, they still made stuff for kids, but the majority of it was adults. You know, I don't think there was even like a PG-13. There was just like, there was G, and I think there was just R and then X, you know, and then triple X. And so, yeah. And then like, I think Hollywood started realizing like, well, we're kind of limiting the market. So if we can do something in between G and R, then we can expand our market. So then it was PG-13, I think. Was it G, PG, and then what the hell was it? Parental guidance was PG. So what was PG-13 then? I don't remember. But anyways, Hollywood got this idea that they could kind of change it up a little bit, and they could get I guess older kids into the theater without their parents. Was it PG-13? So if you were like 13 or under, you know what? To be honest, I don't remember how that stuff works. But anyway, they were definitely marketing to a younger audience, and they still are, because you don't see a lot of R-rated movies anymore. Most of them are like actually PG-13. Have faith. My wallet stands ready. Cool. I appreciate it, Randy Howell. Crazy Cat says, no mods art. I'll link stuff if you let me. How do I do that? Let me see. Let's see if we can give Crazy Cat a link. I think I go my email, and there's Crazy Cat right there. Then I go here. Add as moderator. Yeah, so add as moderator, managing moderator. Standard, I'm going to give you standard moderator. So Crazy Cat, you are now a mod. Let's see how it reflects here. Let's see. Crazy Cat, start putting links in if you are now a mod. Cecil is a lucky man indeed. Oh, because his girlfriend is, her name is Juju. I wonder if that's her birth name or a nickname. Very interesting. So we got Ronan. Young people will always gravitate towards malt liquor. We bought malt liquor in the day because it was inexpensive. It was cheaper, and it was like, what was it, 32 ounces or something. They were like the tall boys, the bigger cans. So you could get more bang for the buck. I remember just sitting out like on the corner with my dirtbag friends, drinking like a Colt 45 or something like that, pretending to be tough guys. Crazy Cat, a basic Starbucks coffee is internationally or intentionally burnt to encourage the sugary dessert drinks. I didn't know that. So what if you cook it or heat it up longer, it brings out the sugars? They still sugar the hell out of that stuff. It's weird because like there's a generation that goes, oh well, you know what? Soda is bad. You know, like the generation before us, you know, drank soda and like Coke and all these type of things. and it's so bad for you. You know, all the sugar and all this stuff. And it's like, you know how much sugar you have to put in coffee to make it taste the way you like it? It's a lot of sugar, man. There's a lot of sugar in that. So don't pretend that Starbucks is any healthier than drinking, you know, a cola or a Dr. Pepper or a Sprite or something, you know. Hey, we got Gary Martin in the house. I tend to be a comic art snob, but I can't wait for this book, Goatee Bear. Oh, thank you, man. It means a lot, Gary. Gary is a really, really talented so and so. Oh, Crazy Cat. You got it. You got it, bro. So yeah, Crazy Cat's I'm sorry, Crazy Cat's got his link. That was tough to say. PG-13 didn't come around till mid '80s. Yeah, yeah, Gremlins 2 and Indiana. It was Indiana Jones 2. I knew it was like it was Spielberg Productions because I think Spielberg was the one that headed that whole PG-13 thing. One, not two. Yeah, yeah, I got it. Yeah. I mean, that movie, if there's any kids listening, tune out. But man, that movie pissed me off because I mean, I saw it when I was older, right? But I remember like thinking, oh, this is kind of a kids movie. Uh, Amanda, our daughter, was younger. I was like, oh, it's kind of a Christmas movie, kind of a horror Christmas movie. This will be fun for her to watch. And then there's Phoebe Cates just monologues about Christmas and how finding out there's no you know who. And my daughter's watching this, and I'm like, oh man, come on, Phoebe Cates, don't be saying this. You know, I think like the whole Santa thing and kind of the conspiracy behind it. If you think about it, it's like nobody really talks about you know the real Santa and all these other things, and so everybody like society. It's kind of a cool thing where society kind of keeps it on the down low, so they don't spoil it for the next generation. And I think that that's kind of a special thing if you think about it. You know, I mean, there are some idiots that go out and say stupid stuff, you know, and try to mess up other people's good times. But for the most part, you know, nobody says anything. And actually, when my daughter Amanda was here recently, I was talking to her and I said, when did you realize that? Because I was like, you know, mom and I used, because she knows, mom and I used to bring stuff downstairs, like from upstairs downstairs to the Christmas tree, and we would walk right by your bedroom. And did you ever hear us or anything? Did that ever spoil it? And she goes, no. She goes, I believed until I was 9 or 10, something like that. Maybe it was double digits. And I go, well, did somebody at school spoil it for you or whatever? And she goes, no. Mom had a receipt on her table. And I looked at it and had some of the items that I asked for Christmas. But I mean, 10 years old, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. In this day and age, you know, keeping that hush hush on the down low. But she had a great Christmas, man. Great Christmas. Hey, thanks, Marcus. Thank you for helping out with the wrenching. We got Crazy Cat in to help as well. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. The more the merrier. Leg kick. Hello, Gary Martin. I did a convention. I don't remember where it was. I think it was the first time I ever met Gary face to face. And he was sitting right next to me. And he had all these prints and things, kind of like what his art book. I think these were, you know, pieces that were eventually brought into his art book. And I knew Gary, you know, obviously doing comic books and doing quality work, but also I believe he wrote a how to ink book. And for a while, I was kind of holding it against him that I wasn't in that book. But anyway, no, you know, it's good. It's good. I'm a big Gary fan. And so I'm sitting next to him at the show and I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, wow, that is some serious control. And I say, so how are you doing this? Like my my head instantly goes like French curve, crow quill pullouts, just kind of keep going down. And that's probably how most people would do something like that these days. And then Gary says, it's all brushwork. And I'm like, how do you get anything done? That is crazy labor intensive. That is nuts. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think anybody has the patience to do artwork like that in this industry anymore. I think Gary is an original right now, um, because just the sheer amount of control. Like I could do it, but I can't do it as successfully as Gary, and there's no way I could do it as consistent as Gary does. Like Gary is like this is an inker term I made up, and I go, that guy's a machine, right? Because you look at it and everything is just like perfect. And if you knew how hard it was to get control of these tools, it's not that easy. There's a lot of variables to them, and a brush is even tougher. And yeah, Gary would just put these lines down with a brush, and so I gained a whole new level of respect for Gary. It's weird because my brain goes, yeah, that's amazing, that's really impressive, but also my brain kind of has this other side to it. It goes, Gary's crazy. He's nuts, because who would do this? Like, how would you even make money? Because it would take so damn long, and also just the control. I'll tell you, penciling takes a different part of your brain, and writing takes a different part of your brain, because you're creating out of whole cloth. So when you're drawing, it's a blank page, and it's a process. So when you're drawing, you're trying something, erasing it, trying something, erasing it. When you're writing, you're writing a paragraph, and then you're kind of going back and editing and rewriting. So it's a process. Inking is a performance. Inking is you just do it, and then it's done. But what it's like being on stage. It's like being a singer, right? Whatever the performance is when you're on stage that night, that is what defines it. You don't get to go back and redo it. That's it. So that's kind of how inking is. Inking is kind of like you do it and it's done. There's no real erasing. There's no redoing it. There's no process. It's just doing it. It's like you put the line down. That's the line. It's literally in ink. And so one of the things that you have to do is I used to call it being on top of it. Like, you got to really be connected with it. Otherwise, the ink and the tools can get away from you. What I mean by that is, if you're not really paying attention, you have to by hand all the time, all the time. So every single item that's inked is that way. It's not drawing, it's a performance. It's like you're getting life and energy out of a line. So it's interpretive, it's a performance, and whatever you put down on the page at that time is what it is. That's what defines it. But what also happens when you're an inker is the level of focus, just sheer focus, like 100% focus for hours and hours and hours. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, it is an art form unto itself. Like, it really doesn't exist anywhere else anyway. So it is not mind numbing, but it is a lot of focus. It is a lot of focus. So just to do a normal page, right? But what Gary does is beyond that. Like, I don't know how he does it. I don't have that kind of focus. It would break me. It would literally break me. I think if I did just a single page like he does, you would have to fit me in a straitjacket and take me away, because I'd be like, I'd be out of my mind, because the focus is so intense. I hope you're still listening, Gary. And I hope you're taking this as a compliment, because I mean it definitely as a compliment. Um, Let me see. Lake Kick says, it is healthier if you don't think or you don't drink the sweetened stuff. Yeah, yeah. I I limit my caffeination to one beverage a day, and my wife got these small cans, so it's like Coke, but it's the smaller cans. It's not a full size, so I'll have one of those a day. Or if we go to a restaurant and I didn't have one of those, I'll just order, like a beverage to go with that, like Coke or Dr. Pepper. But I only have one a day. Sometimes I don't have one at all. So I know it's real bad for you, and there's a ton of sugar in there, and the caffeination, and all that other stuff. It's just not good for you. So I drink tea. My wife brews fresh tea probably every other day, so I do that. Let me see. Klaus Johnson was on Miller Time with Mark Miller. Did you see that, Art? No. Klaus is Klaus is really good. He's really good. He gave me some awesome advice early on in my career. And I'll tell you, like, comic book artists are really some of the warmest people for the most part, especially in the day, open to helping other people, things like that. So, a friend of mine that lived in New York City, Mark Pacella, either knew Klaus or somehow somebody that he knew him. But anyway, he got us. When I was visiting New York and visiting Mark, we went over to Klaus's apartment, and I was a single guy, and still like just kind of in awe of just life. And we went into the apartment, and there's a small, everything's small in New York City. There was a small hallway, and there were some kind of like artsy gay black and white photos, and they're right there on the walls. So as you're walking, it's like, oh, don't look at them. And so then there's the bathroom, and then as you go, it's kind of like a one room. I think it's a one room apartment. So he had like this cool setup where he had like it was like a bunk bed, and his drawing board and stuff was underneath that. And so because you have to consolidate, space. And so then he had a small flat file, and so we're talking. He was super cool, and so he pulled out some of the Dark Knight Returns pages that he was working on with Frank Miller, and before he did that, I was just talking how amazing that stuff was. So maybe they were working on issue 3, and issue 1 and 2 had already come out or something, but I had already seen the artwork, and I was talking to him about like the way you approach it's almost like painterly. It's not like it's very spontaneous, and it's very kind of kinetic. And so I was just kind of just saying how amazing he was. And so then he goes over and he pulls out these pages, these Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller, Klaus Janson inked pages, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, this is like once in a lifetime stuff. I really did come up in the industry in probably one of the best times. It was tough. There wasn't a lot of money in it, but there was a lot of cool people, and there was great people were trying new stuff, and so I looked at it, and there was a lot of whiteout. There was a lot of like trial and error, and it almost did look like an abstract painting, kind of like a Van Gogh, where there's like almost like levels to the work, like ink a little white out, ink white out kind of things, but you know, um, way different than most people ink. So there was a lot of just, I guess it's just like kinetic stuff, just trying things, not being happy with it, trying it again. And they were beautiful. I would still love to try to do something more like that, just the sketchier style. But like inking, the craft being what it is, I kind of started inking in a certain way because it was the mainstream way of inking. And I was telling him about that. I was like, how do you get to this point where you can ink like this? Because like the industry just, they don't let you do this because there's a certain standard, right? And I mean, Klaus is beyond that standard. Like he's writing his own ticket, you know. And he said, I didn't start off doing work like this. And I said, okay. And he said, how you do it is if you have a vision of where you want to be, just introduce it over time. So, like, try it in this panel, try it in that panel, but just do a little bit over the course of issues. And so then you'll eventually make it to that destination. So, but what it is, it's a gradual change because the thing when I came up, it was like when you signed on for a book, you signed on for a monthly book. You did 12 issues a year. You know what I mean? Like it was your book. So you could kind of do stuff like that, you know, because you could do this gradual progression. And you didn't want to make it too abrupt because then the reader would go, what is this? This is nothing like last month. You know, so if you do it over time, not only will the audience kind of move along with it, but your editor and your publisher as well. They might not even notice it, you know, and then all of a sudden there's this great new pinnacle, this place that you're at. And so I was working on Adventures of Superman, doing finishes over Dan Jurgens at the time. So I remembered that, and there was two things that happened that kind of gave me permission to do what I did on that series or you know that book. Is it was Howard Chaykin, and I asked Howard because my roommate was Howard Chaykin's writing partner John Moore, and so I used to hang out at the Chaykin studio quite a bit actually. And so I remember talking to Howard about like what really are finishes. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not 100%. And so he said it basically means you can do whatever the f you want. And I was like, okay, you mean like I could ink and I could finish it however I want, whatever style, whatever. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you're the ultimate say at the end game. And I was like, oh shit. So giving a young creator that information, you know, my imagination went crazy. So I was like, I don't have to be beholden to any specific style or look or anything. Like I could kind of do my own thing. And that's what I did. I just kind of did my own thing. And thank goodness everybody seemed to like it. So I think that first year working on Adventures, I was nominated for like 2 or 3 different awards. I didn't win them, but I remember Mike Carlin giving me a call and was like, "Did you know this? You're nominated for," and I was like, no, because I wasn't a New York guy, so I was kind of not really part of what was going on. So I was, but I wasn't. Let me see. Yeah, it's the last day, you guys. So sign up for Black and White, Volume 2, Sins of the Father. Here's the link right here. Go sign up. You'll be eligible for a free Juju trading card with a backing. And we are going to go live tomorrow around noon o'clock. That's somewhere between noon and 1. We're not really sure yet, but I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow morning, and definitely I'll be posting on my X account, letting you guys know as we get closer to that. Let me see. Randy House says Gary's head is going to start to swell. Well, I only speak the truth. I have an Americano per day. I don't know what that means. Americano. Oh, that's a type of coffee. Oh, okay, I got it. I drink coffee. Most people do. Crazy Cat says less sugar in general is wise policy seen as how there's sugar in everything. Stevia is a natural plant-based sweetener. I use it for my coffee. My daughter bought us some of that, and we tried it for a while. I didn't really care for it. I don't put sugar in my coffee. Ooh, badass. That's how my parents drank it too. I think my mom, I think she might have put 1 tablespoon of sugar or part of one, and then just a dab of cream or milk. I don't think we had cream. I think it was just like milk. But I don't think she did that all the time. Yeah, I like it too. And if I have a sore throat or I'm sick, Pamela will make me like a hot tea with some honey in it. Really, really good. I heard like localized honey helps with allergies too. So if you could get honey from your area, it will help if you have allergies. So have you had an interaction with Terry Austin? No, you know what? I've never met Terry Austin, uh, which is really strange, but I never have. Did he ever give you any tips? I've never even had a conversation with him. So that's kind of bizarre. I never really thought about it until you mentioned it. I haven't seen Terry Austin interviewed on YouTube. I would like to do a lot of that stuff, but a lot of people have a hard time with CG, and they don't want to really hang out. And I don't want heat to come down on anybody. So I don't really invite anybody to do live streaming. Our Crumb is still alive. I'd love to see an epic sit down interview with him. What podcaster is up to the challenge, though? What do you think of R. Crumb's lines? I think it's great. I think if you look at like some of the Europeans and even Art Adams, like his line work looks kind of like it's from like the deep indie stuff. If you look at it, it's kind of a really refined R. Crumb with the approach. Oh my gosh, that would be perfect. Actually, that would be really, really good. Yeah, for R. Crumb and Joe Rogan to get together. Lake says Graham Nolan is a great interview. People like Crumb, Crazy Cat. Graham has a lot of knowledge, and his interviews are fantastic. Yeah, we were supposed to do something with my old editor, Mike Carlin. So we were going to do something with Mike Carlin and Dennis Cowan, and then it was Graham and myself, but it never happened. We were in a chat together, a green room chat, but I think everybody's schedule was it was hard to rally everybody, and also then I'm speculating, but I think that those guys figured out they were Comicsgate. Yes. Thank you, Crazy Cat. Sins of the Father, Volume 3. Sign up. The last day to sign up for exclusive card before launch tomorrow. Yes, you guys. So click that link. Go sign up. I miss Graham Storyteller vids. They'll probably bring those back. For sure. Let's see. A lot of Graham Nolan fans. I don't see Graham willing to get that funky or weird with Crumb interview. LOL. You got to have someone who's willing to go there with him. You know who would be good? You know what? If Dan Fraga, I think, because Dan he's a deep well of information too. I think Dan and R. Crumb would probably get along pretty well. How old is R. Crumb? He's got to be up there. He goes pretty weird with Garney. I really like Garney. Ron's a good guy. Let's see. Randy says, give it a few years and being CG will be a badge of honor. I believe you're right. The amazing thing, I think I talked about last live stream, was that CG was we were way ahead of the curve. So what happened politically this time out is kind of a CG idea, right? Is to go to the people, and it's like a populist movement. Like CG is in a strange way, it's a populist movement because it's based on you guys. You guys came, you rallied, you were kind of tired of the old, and we're willing to give the new a shot, even though a lot of us are older guys and have been working in the business. But I think you're getting product out of us that you never would have saw or seen at DC or Marvel. So there's that, and then there's a lot of newbies coming in, and they're exercising their talents and putting stuff out there. So I do think like entertainment started going slowly going that way. The news outlets, we were talking about Joe Rogan, Dave Rubin, Megyn Kelly, even Russell Brand, like all of these guys, coming together and building their own networks like Daily Wire, stuff like that, and just kind of doing it independently of the mainstream. So it's like the mainstream chose to not play well with us anymore, call us names, ostracize us, all those things. And so what do? Do you go and kiss the ring? Do you bend a knee and say, please, can you have, can you keep giving me scraps? Or do you just stand up and say, hey, let's try to do our own thing? And it was really scary in early CG days. It really was. But we did prevail. And I do think that it is a viable market now. Before it was like the Wild West, but now it is a viable market, and there is a strong voice. And you're starting to see that with like news. Like I said, there's these podcasters. Well, actually, one of the first is like Adam Carolla. I should give him credit, for the long form, kind of podcast, interviews and insightful things. And Adam doesn't shy away from like, this is my point of view. This is how I feel about things. And for the most part, his takes are pretty accurate. And so there's that. And then like this election, there's all these kind of people coming out and rallying around Donald Trump, kind of like what CG did. Like, you got some early guys, speaking, and then you got the industry listening. And then you had people like myself. I mean, I came in really early on. I think there's really only 3 of us from the original days, maybe 4. So there's obviously Ethan, there's John Malin, there's me, and then there's Donald DeLay, and of course there's Cecil. For some reason, I mean, he is a creative guy. He writes, a cash grab, which is live right now. You guys should go check that book out. But there's just a handful of us that are still here. And so, we took a big chance, and I think it's paying off big time. And so now you see it in a lot of things, and it's mostly coming from the right, because the left, the progressives, the SJW types, they decided that they were going to ostracize us. They decided they weren't going to play nice with us. And they were going to try to cancel us, and so we stepped up and said, well, we're not going to get canceled. And the thing is, like, unlike those guys, they were already canceled. When I came over to CG, I still had a career at DC Comics. I was working on one of their top 5 books. I was working on Super Sons. So I quit DC. They didn't fire me. So I chose, with opportunity still, to come to CG. But I also knew that I probably wouldn't be going back to the mainstream after that. So knock on wood, you guys have been supporting, and you've been taking care of me and my family. So I do appreciate that. And we should keep this going, because Black and White, Volume 3, Sins of the Father, is going to drop tomorrow on Indiegogo. So I'm going to start wrapping it up, but I'm going to do a rapid fire in the chat and see what you guys are saying, because I do like being interactive with you guys. It's one of my favorite things. Is this the Daniel Craig? The Bond Craig? At first, I thought Art had moved. He just turned the desk. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take a picture once I get it kind of settled. Right here is where my traditional drawing board was. A big-ass drawing board. And so when we moved here, I used it for the first couple months, but I stopped using it because I couldn't really interact on the computer. So I got a lap board, like Lightbox lap board and I just set it here, and then I can interact, I can talk, I can live stream, and I can be entertained. Like I can go to YouTube, I can watch YouTube videos, and just be connected where I couldn't before, because before it was here. So the camera was here, what was here, and I was looking this way. So the stairs are over there. So yeah, I just flipped it around, and I think it makes a lot more sense. It's a cleaner workspace, and I like it better. Yeah. So always room for improvement, right? Dan is great. We got some Dan Frega fans. Dan Frega is a great choice for our Crumb interview. Yeah, he knows that underground stuff. I know it probably more than I should cop to, but like there was the Freak Brothers. They were drug comics basically. So they were deep indie, and then there was I'm horrible at recall, but like when I first broke into the comics industry, I was working with Jim Valentino, and Jim Valentino was one of those deep indie guys like Renegade Press, Cerebus, Dave Sims, Denny Lobert, who was oh my gosh, I'm blanking. He did the Tales of Bean World. Those guys were all like the drug culture and the deep indie stuff. And so I hung out with those guys when I first broke in comic books. I didn't hang out with any of the mainstream guys. I was hanging out with the drug culture guys. Like, we would go to shows, and there would be like these basement rooms, and we would, light up something, or, drink something, or do something illegal, and just kind of hang out. And that was kind of my introduction to comics, was the indie stuff. What was it? Was it the Garcia? Like there was David Garcia. There was some of those guys that they weren't that deep indie, but they were indie, because I think he had like PandaCon, and then there was of course the two Ninja Turtle guys. I forget their name now, but yeah, just hanging out with those guys and partying with those guys in the early days. And then the reason I left is because the company I was working for stopped paying me. So I probably would have stayed in the independent market longer than I did, but I needed a steady paycheck. So I would ask around. I was like, where would I go to get a steady paycheck? And they're like, well, Marvel and DC, if you got in with them, they pay on time, and they're pretty reliable, which the independent market was not. So I got a portfolio together, and one thing led to another, and I got DC and Marvel work on the same day. Actually, I got pencil work at DC, and I got ink work at Marvel. So it kind of worked out, and I haven't looked back, ever since. Oh man, we got the beautiful Mandy Summers in the chat. Black and White, let's go. Yeah, Mandy, I wanna network with you. I've had a series of misadventures with my computer and just life stuff. So I know we had set up something to get on, to hang out and help, let people know that Black and White was out there. So I hope we can do that this week. That would be cool. I'll DM you and set something up. Adam Carolla was the premier podcaster and the current podcast model even before, Joe Rogan. Most people have forgotten that. No, he was like way before Joe Rogan. And the thing is, like, they all came from K-Rock, which was a LA-based radio station. It was a morning show. And so Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla, and even Joe Rogan would go on with Kevin and Bean in the mornings. And he was like a conspiracy guy. He would go on, and those guys would give him a bunch of shit. They'd go, because he'd go, well, this, that, or the other. He was like John Malin, flat earth is real, kind of stuff. And he'd go there, and he would just kind of like, I don't know if he really believed it or not, but he would basically just, yank the chain. And it was some interesting stuff, because it was fun. Like Joe would talk about his knowledge, and those guys would just say, "You're crazy, Joe. You're crazy," that kind of thing. And then it's probably decades later, I see Joe Rogan's got his own podcast, and he's just killing it, man. absolutely killing it. You burn the boats, as they say. Yeah, I didn't really. I didn't piss anybody off. I didn't say anything. But I guess just by my sheer existence and hanging out with the deplorables and the garbage people, uh, got me labeled as a bad egg, as they say. Leg kick by the end of this month. I will be backing Oodles. Oh man, you're awesome. And Black and White and 7 or 8 other books. LOL. I have to catch up. Sweet man. We appreciate it all the way. Yeah, Zach. I don't know if Zach helped start CG. He started, I think he inspired it because I'm not sure if he was ever really connected to it. But he was definitely like inspired Ethan and the early guys because I remember listening to Zach, months before I came on board with CG. But I don't know who coined CG. I don't know if it was Zach. I don't know if it was Ethan. Zach doesn't seem like much of a team player. He doesn't seem like that. Like Ethan is like he's like a team player. He's a very social guy. He likes hanging out with a lot of people and talking comics and stuff like that. So I don't really remember how that went, but it doesn't seem like Zach, because Zach didn't do live streams like it was it was kind of early on. It was Ethan Van Sciver and it was Mike S. Miller. And Miller did a lot of live streams, and so did Ethan. And there was Mitch Bratweiser, who in the early days he would do quite a bit of shows, but not as many as those guys did. So if you wanted to get exposure and you wanted to hang out, it was mostly those two guys. And so Mike had Drawn and Quartered, which was a drawing stream, and John and I would go on there all the time. And John and I were on a lot of those Mike Miller streams early on, and then like I said, Ethan. But I don't remember Zach ever saying, like, "Hey, everybody, let's go on. Let's hang out. Let's do a jam. CG jam stream or anything like that." It was mostly like he did those prepared videos and stuff. He didn't do a lot of live streams. So I don't really know. I don't want to discredit Zach and say, he didn't create or help start. He might, at best, this is my recollection is that he inspired it. One of the things I want to do, it's just the days are what they are, man. They get away from me so fast. Is I want to do some live streaming with John Malin, because John and I went on a lot of streams, those mic streams early on, and it would be fun to go down memory lane because there's a bunch of names. Like there's Detective Dead. There was Elliot. Was it Elliot Rodriguez? I forget what his name. That's where John will be better at it, just recalling names and just all these guys we used to hang out with. That like Matt Cosson, Eric Nieltowski. There was just a bunch of guys that were there in the early days that hung out on Mike's stream. But then when Mike decided he was going to leave, with Doug TenNapel, and I knew Doug before CG too. I knew Mike. I knew all these guys before CG. So, so whenever there was that rift between Doug, Doug, the rift was Doug and Mike decided that they didn't like the way things were handled at CG. I think there was a little bit of a power struggle with Mike, and then Ethan had an idea of how it should go, and they just didn't mesh. And I think that eventually Mike resented Ethan, and then Ethan would kind of do these jokes, and the more Mike protested, the funnier the jokes became. And so Mike kind of took Ethan as like he was being an adversary. And so I think Mike got hurt and kind of split away, which was actually pretty catastrophic at the time. But yeah, let me know, you guys in the chat, if you would like to see John Malin and myself go over some old times like CG adventures. And just talk about the old days. Let me see. Yeah, Boy Zach was one of the original CGers and really puts Comicsgate on the map. Did he call CG? Because that was kind of thrust upon us. So I don't know when that happened. Like, were they calling Zach Comicsgate? But it's weird because, like I said, Zach put out comics, but Zach didn't really interact with anybody else. So it's kind of interesting. That would be fun doing a deep dive. Mike says, or Michael Bancroft, Zach did solo live streams back. Yeah, that's what I thought. He didn't really. He would go on Ethan's stream a little later, every once in a while, but not a lot. Comicsgate was coined by SJW Comic Book Pros and media as an insult, LOL. Yeah, but I don't know who adopted it. Like, did Ethan Van Sciver go, where CG? Or did Zach, your boy, go, where CG? Because I don't see Zach as like we. I see Zach as Zach. But Ethan was like always we. So that's kind of the thing that that doesn't seem like it was necessarily Zach saying, let's get a bunch of guys together and create comic books. And I know that CG was kind of a movement. It wasn't just professionals. It was like there were YouTubers. It was a Captain Cummings, and there was a few other guys. And I think they were CG because there was a weird thing that was going on early on where it was like they were the true CG and then the comic book pros weren't, so maybe the CG wasn't thrown at us directly, like Ethan, your CG, or any of that. So maybe it was just, like Captain Cummings, just the collective, like Zach and all that were labeled CG, and then it just became kind of like this group of people. That's where the scrolling meme came from. Scrolling. Get this live stream scrolling. He'd do a video segment first, then hang out with the chat. Yeah. We got what is that? Moromi? We got Sim Inkslayer in the house. Hello, everyone. What's up, brother man? Let's see. Randy Howell says you can do a reunion stream and EFAP old streams. That's beyond me, but maybe John. I should talk to John and see if we could do something like that and get Ethan and any of the guys that want to be part of it, and just kind of like what I'm doing now is just like refresh everybody's memory, and then maybe also give everybody that that's in the chat kind of like how it all started, like the history of CG or something. We could possibly do. Let's see. Crazy Cat Zach was called Comicsgate. Why John Malin considers his art on Jawbreakers the first. Well, definitely that. Yeah. Book. Though the people love to argue that. No. I give it hands down that Jawbreakers was the first book, and you're right. I do believe it was considered a Comicsgate book. So the Comicsgate movement might have even been prior to us getting involved, because early on, Zach wasn't a comic book creator. He was a YouTuber. So maybe there was that whole YouTube Comicsgate thing that happened. And then there was, a Zach put out the comic book. It did crazy numbers. I remember watching that thing and just thinking, because I was already putting stuff out through Kickstarter. So I think I had 2 books out, on the Kickstarter platform before, Jawbreakers dropped. And then when I saw those numbers, I was like, oh my gosh, There's some potential here, man. Let's see. OG creators only. Keep Shane. Keep Shane out. You know what? I remember. What was the guy like? Kick Nasser. Like Nasser would come on my live streams, and I remember when it was what book was that called? Oh my gosh, it was the guy with like the pompadour, and um, it was drawn kind of like Simon Bisley with proportions, and it was Donald DeLay, and it was Nasser that put the book together. There was a little riff of who owned what later, but I remember having him on my stream, and Nasser was just a kid, and he was like a deer in the headlights. He did not talk hardly at all, and it was supposed to be just Nasser and I, and then somehow Nasser said we should get Donald in here. So I sent Donald a link, and Donald came in, and my gosh, I mean, Donald was good on that live stream. Like Donald doesn't do a lot of streaming, but he was pretty good. He was funny and he was entertaining. And if you don't know who Donald DeLay is, he's currently working on Cash Grab. That's Cecil's book. So he's the artist, Brutus the Badass. Yes, thank you. It was Brutus the Badass. Yeah. And I thought that book looked great. Let's see, Michael Bancroft, people started using the hashtag tag more around late 2018s, but people didn't really start to adopt it as a group name until after the Wade and Arctic Press fiasco. Oh my gosh. I still wish Zach would have followed through with that lawsuit, but I mean, it might have broken financially. That was a flashpoint. Man, there's been quite a bit of stuff if you think about all the crazy shit we had to endure to get to this point in time. Michael's got the whole history here. Before then, it was more of an amorphous hashtag movement thing. Brutus. Yeah, Cecil's artist for sure. Never go 50-50. Oh, on ownership. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even give anybody ownership. You know, I remember getting advice from Howard Chaykin early on because he got ripped off with American Flag. So he had a deal with First Comics, I believe, and it wasn't a 50-50. He still had controlling shares, but First had quite a bit. And so Howard was getting called in for Hollywood meetings. And this is, keep in mind, this was before a RoboCop or before the Judge Dredd movie, okay? So was that Ed Pressman's production company? But anyway, he would go in, have these meetings, and then First Comics would get these pitches, whatever, like we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he said they were kind of getting in the negotiation and they weren't playing ball. They weren't being as open as Howard was. Because keep in mind, like Howard's a creative person. He wants to see his creations live. First Comics just wants money. They have no vested interest in the IP itself. They just want cash. They just want power and success. And so Howard told me, and I think in a nutshell, it was that First Comics was sabotaging the negotiations. And so he was telling me, he was like, if you ever get in these kind of situations, he said, never give up ownership. Keep the ownership. And I've never given ownership at all. Yeah, I think on one project, and it was like a studio project, but it still wasn't controlling shares of it. And no, I remember what I did. I didn't give him ownership of the property. I gave him a big chunk of the money. So he had kind of like, he was attached monetarily. So there was a guaranteed percentage of, like, if it was 70-30. So whatever was made, whatever I got, he would get 30% of it out of the 100. So if I sold whatever the IP was, he wouldn't be involved with the negotiation or any of that stuff, but he would get a payout. So that's how, if I do it, which I've never done other than that one time, um, I'll give money, but I won't give ownership. Yes. Cecil's artist is Donald DeLay. Yes. Speaking of Mark Wade, isn't taking the less or taking the loss very well. Yeah, some of these people are just, I think they're infantile. I think they're like children. Negotiating when you don't have the power to close a deal must be maddening. What are your predictions for the new Yellow Flash Dillard book they co-own together? Will that be successful partnership? Um, I've never seen these things ever be successful. I think inevitably they always go sour. So whether it goes sour early on or later, when there's something to really fight over, it's always interesting to see how much people will fight before something's even created. Some people will fight so much before something's created that they'll sabotage it, that it will never come to fruition, because they're so busy, fighting. And that's better than creating something successful and then fighting over it. Yes, last day you guys sign up for Black and White. Oh no, this is oh yeah, this is two things. Last day to sign up for Black and White, Volume 2. Yeah, so sign up for that. And then Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too is still in demand. So I'll show it real quick. I'll show the video, just so you guys know what we're talking about with the Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. So yeah, this is the site, and let's play this. Oh, I just realized I need to show you something else.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Hey guys, back it today. Oh, excuse me. The link is in the description, and go and pick up a copy today. The book is at the printers right now. The prints are being printed. They're going to have a gold, like embossed border around them. They're going to be gorgeous. They're going to be gorgeous. The book is being printed now. We were supposed to get it last week in November, but it's been extended to the first week of December. So we should get the books in December, and we're going to start fulfillment instantly. So, excuse me, if you guys don't like to wait for your books, back it today, and you'll get it very, very, very soon. So thanks to everybody that has backed it so far and supported that campaign. I do appreciate. The book is going to look gorgeous. It is signed and numbered, limited to 300. That's the print run. So very, very collectible. The original print run, some of those books are going for 100 plus. So I think the rarity makes them collectible. So yeah, let's get going on that. Like I said, the link is in the description. Marcus is putting those in as well. And I I promised some Pedro Ang artwork, and I'm glad I kind of saw this really quick. So we'll leave on some really amazing stuff. I do think Pedro is just he's just killing it on this. Let's see. Let's see if this is working. I got all my new stuff, you guys. So I'm not sure anymore of anything. So Pedro put these together. These are character designs for the new story. So this is High Octane Adventures. Look at this. Like Pedro is these are inspired, man. These are so freaking good. And believe it or not, these things are going to be the big bad in the storyline. So I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be kind of our take on Gremlins. Actually, you guys in the chat were talking about Gremlins. These are going to be kind of like Gremlin characters. So we have the original Gremlin on the lower right, and then we have, I guess, like he would be the Mogwai, and then the bigger one is the Gremlin. I think that's a better way of explaining it. So we got a couple of, look at this. Oh my gosh. Marconi. We got the evil Gremlin, and then we have, you know, kind of the like I said, Mogwai. His name's Nigel. So the Mogwai Nigel. So Pedro, look at this. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's all ages book, but don't let that. I mean, it's anybody's going to be able to enjoy this thing. It's 22 pages, and Pedro's inspired. He is inspired. His first professional comic book work was Black and White High Octane 1. So he's done a couple comic books on his own, and so he came back. He liked working on the black and white characters and with me so much, he came back and he's just nailing it. These designs are beautiful. We got PTC. We got the Caesar character. So I want to give you more, but I don't want to spoil the storyline. So I think just giving you some context, which is kind of the Gremlin Mogwai thing, that's enough. Pull it back one. Look at that. These helmets are cool. Little tusks. It's great stuff. Little scepter. And there's the little Mogwai Nigel. Yeah, these helmets are really, really cool. Like Alexander is awesome, but I think it's Maroni is my favorite. I like the little barbell thing going through the helmet. So this is what you got to look forward to with Black and White High Octane Adventures. This will be Volume 2, and it is going to be up before you know it. So where was I sharing? I think I was sharing. Was I sharing? Yeah. Did you guys see that? I hope I was. Those are great. Oh, okay, good. I was. Yeah, because it wasn't giving me the share button like it usually does. So I hope I did it right. Yes, we saw it. Thank you. Crazy Cat, it is safe to say Black and White, the series, is letting its freak flag fly the further it goes. Seems like it's getting a trippier. Possibly, but I think it's grounded, you know. But the thing is, I never wanted Black and White to just be one thing. So I wanted to kind of be like the Marvel or DC universe, where, you know, there's like superhero type stuff, but there's high like sci-fi stuff going on, high tech stuff, and then there's like supernatural and just everything in between. So I don't want to limit it to one thing. So Black and White Volume 1 and 2, there was supernatural aspects to it, but it was very grounded. So it was almost understated. So we're going to try to do the same thing with 3 and 4, but we're going to have a lot more fun with it. So there is going to be some of that um, grounding, but the supernatural stuff is going to be a little bit bigger. But we're not gonna like go, oh, this is supernatural, or like spoon feed it. It's just going to be done very matter of fact. So if we're doing our job right, Aaron Sparrow is writing with me. If we do our job right, then you guys should just track it. Like everything's working, everything's fine, and nothing seems out of the norm or ordinary. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. Hey, we got Nicholas Gear in the house. What's up? Howdy, folks. All right, you guys. I still got a lot to do, and we're approaching dinner time, so I'm sure Pamela's hungry. I do appreciate you guys hanging out. Parting shot. Click that link. Click those links, the Oodles links. If you like what you see on the Indiegogo campaign, the In Demand campaign, back a book, and go sign up for Volume 3, Sins of the Father. You'll be eligible for a free trading card with a backing, and that don't cost nothing. So whether you get a book or not, it's good to have that option for that free trading card. So like I said, it doesn't cost anything. And click that link, go sign up, and we'll see you tomorrow. And you guys are going to be seeing a ton of me for the next couple of months. So I hope that's okay with you. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.